Hello. Do you need to know what's going on with union craft settlements in the construction industry? If so, please stick around and I'll tell you what's happening. This is Carey Peters with the Construction Labor Research Council. I want to talk about three things that are happening with settlements in the United States. Let's talk about the overall direction of settlements. Let's take a look at settlements by the regions in the U.S. and then by the different crafts. So to start with, overall, we've seen a definitive decline, although a modest decline, in the size of settlements in the U.S. for union crafts and construction. We topped out at about 3% a couple of years ago, and now we've found an equilibrium at about 2.8%. So a modest but robust or stable decline in settlements. That's taken us from $1.73 a couple of years ago to about $1.63 for the U.S. average. In 2019 and 20, as you can see in our exhibits 1.3 and 1.4, the most common settlement was in the 3.1 to 3.5% range. And here in 20 and 21, that average has dropped to the 2.6 to 3.0% range. Moving on, let's talk about the regions and what's happening in each region in the United States. And let me remind you, we're discussing Section 1 of the CLRC Settlements Report, which covers new settlements that have occurred so far in 2021. So it's a good read on what's happening currently in the U.S. The Mountain Northern Plains and New England regions eclipsed the Northwest and Southwest Pacific regions this time, as those regions with the highest increases. The West North Central region now brings up toward the tail end of the distribution some of the smaller increases, but of course the South Central and the Southeast regions again have the smallest increases as we look at the different regions in the U.S. Thirdly, let's look at what's happening with crafts in the U.S. And again, this would be in exhibits 1.7 and 1.8 in our settlements report. Plumbers and pipe fitters and electricians, a couple of the specialty trades, had the largest increases as percents at 3.2%. $2 for plumbers and pipe fitters, $1.81 for electricians. Roofers at 1.7% had the smallest increases, 93 cents when we look at the different crafts. I want to give you a brief discussion of Section 2 of the CLRC Settlements Report. Section 2 covers all settlements. So that would be settlements not only negotiated in 2021, but the second year of settlements negotiated in 2020, the third year of settlements negotiated in 2019, and so on. So it includes much more data, much more, just a larger database, but it's not quite as current. It's current, but it doesn't tell you what's happening with new settlements being negotiated right now. Exhibit 2.9 in Section 2 is a useful exhibit because it gives you a craft by region matrix. So you can look at a particular craft in one of the 9 regions that we cover and see what the increases are, both as percentages and dollar amounts for that region, for that craft. So it's pretty useful to drill down more specifically on CLRC data. And finally, as a bonus, I want to talk a little bit about contract length as it relates to coronavirus. Before COVID hit, about 68% of all settlements were 3 years. We pretty much knew that. 2/3 of settlements were a 3-year settlement. Since coronavirus, we've been running around in the 44 to 50% of settlements that were 3 years. So where did the contract lengths go as we saw a reduction in the percent of settlements at 3 years? They went in 2 directions. We saw more 1 and 2 year settlements, but we also saw more 4 and 5 year settlements, which is pretty interesting because we would assume that those 3-year terms dropped to 1 and 2 year terms given the uncertainty of coronavirus, and that happened for some settlements. But it also was such that some settlements increased their term and went to 4 and 5 years. Thank you for your time in learning a little bit more about what's happening with union craft settlements in the construction industry. If you have any questions or comments, please contact me at CLRC. And we thank our sponsors. Many associations in the construction industry do sponsor CLRC, and we appreciate their support. And finally, if you need any additional work from us, let us know. We do market share studies, union, non-union, wage and fringe benefits comparisons, contract costing, benchmark analysis, and other reports. So if you have any data analytics needs, please let us know and maybe we can help you. Thank you and have a great day.